All right, so when solving equations where you have x on both sides, we need to isolate the variable term to one side. We've identified the variable terms as 3x and 5x, and the numerical terms as 7 and negative 19. Who remembers another term for these numbers with no variable?
Constant.
Those are our constant terms. So I generally will start with my x. And I start with my x that's smaller. Because when I isolate it to one side, I want that x to be positive. Because when you get into quadratics and start factoring, it's easier to deal with a positive x squared. So how would I make this x disappear? Abby?
Subtracting 3x from both sides of the equation.
Subtracting 3x from both sides of the equation. When I do that now, I've got the additive inverse property. And so we are left with 0 plus 7 equals 2x minus 19. Now, what would I need to do to get that x further alone? I need to strip it away like it's an onion. I want to peel the outer layers. I want to hear from somebody else. Tiffany. Add 19 to both sides of the equation. So now I do that. I've got, again, another additive inverse where I'm using the addition property of equality. And we are left with 26 equals 2x. 2x is, just like with our algebra tiles, equals 26. Next thing we're going to do, Olivia?
You have to divide both sides by 2.
Dividing both sides by 2. And we are left with x equals 13. Now, the one thing I want you to remember is that this is a solid line. Let's think of this like a block of cement. Notice the equal signs. Do they ever move? And x does not move to one side or another unless it has justification. So we cannot just randomly move unless I'm using the inverse operation. Is there a problem, Jeremy? So borrow another one or get another one out. Okay. Now, look at this one. Look at this one where I am now, this time, instead of moving the 3x, I'm going to move my 5x. The opposite of 5x is negative 5x. So now what are we left with here, Paulina?
2.
What kind of 2?
2x.
What kind of 2x? Negative 2x
Plus 7.
equals
Negative 19.
negative 19. So then I'm going to move my 7, subtract 7 from both sides. Negative 2x equals negative 26. Divide both sides by negative 2, and x is equal to 13. Now, is it the same answer?
Yes.
But notice the first step. On the equation on the left, I subtracted 3x. On the equation on the right, I subtracted 5x. So we're doing different steps, the same steps at different times. So it doesn't matter. It's still going to work out. Okay, questions. Okay, let's try one together. So remember, your first priority is to isolate the variable on one side. You're supposed to be taking notes when I'm talking. Anything I'm talking about, you're writing down. All right. So now, we've got another equation. Let's work this one together. What would be my first step? I need to hear from some other people in the room. Sergio.
You combine like this. Wait, what's it called here?
You get what?
Wait, so do you get rid of the variable first?
Yep, to one side.
Alright, so you subtract 7x
from,
from 7x and 3x.
okay. Why might I want to do the 3x instead?
Oh, because like it'd be better if you do the smaller number first.
Okay, so what am I going to do instead of 7x?
Add 3x
Why add?
because it's a negative.
So if I add 3x, is 3x a negative?
No, it's
It's a positive. You look to the left, not to the right.
okay. So you subtract it.
We subtract 3x from both sides. Shh. All right, so we're subtracting the 3x from both sides of the equation. Sergio, what's left here?
4x
4x plus
5
equals,
negative 42.
perfect. Okay, what would be the next step, Henry?
You would subtract 5 from each side.
And what are we left with? 4x
4x equals negative 32.
4x equals negative 32. Last step, Chris?
You divide both sides by 4.
You divide both sides by 4, and we are left with x equals, biggest common mistake, people don't pay attention to that negative, x equals negative 8. Questions? Questions? Okay, I want you guys to do number 2. Go. Pause the recording and try number 2. I forgot to start the recording. So, I raised a student, raised their hand and said you subtract 6x from both sides. We're left with 5x minus 1 equals 29. So to get the x alone, again, we're trying to get the variable term on one side or constant terms on the other. We add 1 to both sides. Now I'm left with negative 5x equals 30. Divide both sides by negative 5, and we are left with x equals negative 6. But my point is that we could have moved the negative 6, or we could have moved the positive x. Stop. Negative, so if that's positive x, Hillary, what else could I have done? Instead of moving 6x, what other x could I have? And what's the inverse operation of x? Is that positive or negative? That's negative?
No, I know positive, so you could like subtract it.
We subtract an x. And then I'm left with negative 1 equals 5x plus 29. Now this time I'm going to do what Alessandra was saying, which was subtract 29 from both sides, and we get, I owe $1, I owe $29, I owe $30. Divide both sides by 5, and we're left with x equals negative 6. Okay, questions? Okay, how many people feel like more? Can anybody tell me what, take a minute, talk with your table partner, and see if you can find the mistake that Jesse made. Shh. All right, so Henry, where do you find the... All right, so now we have to translate, and we get, remember this is less than, 10, less than. So we have 10 less than, but it does say than, so that means it's a backwards number. 3 times a number, my unknown x equals a number. Shh. And is the same as, and then I'm going to put twice the difference. That means the difference means subtraction, and I have a number first and 7. So my equation is going to look like the following. 3x less 10, because it's a backwards number, equals 2 times the quantity of x minus 7. Shh. All right, so what would I do first? Shh. Alasia?
You have to distribute.
What do I end up with?
3x minus 10 equals 2x minus 14.
Good. Oops, I'm jumping ahead. Okay, what's next? Michaela?
You would subtract 2x
Subtracting 2x from both sides, I'm left with negative 10 equals, no, x minus 10 equals negative 14. Next step, Tiffany? And what's my final answer, Tiffany? X equals negative 4. I really like this problem. Hold on, I want to show you this one. All right, I really like this problem because it really makes you think. So what are they asking me here? Yes.
Well, they want the area of the square, but in order to find that, well, it's not the square, but okay, in order to find it, you need to simplify each equation, and then you multiply them by each other to find the area.
Okay. Agree. So how would I go about tackling this? Why don't you actually take 1 minute? All right. Shh. Henry, where are you at? Shh. Okay, what is the height and the length? How did you find it?
Because you divide 2x to get x by itself.
Okay, wait a second. I don't understand. What am I dividing 2x by?
You divide 2 to get the length. You divide
Is there a...
2x by 2.
But why? I don't have an equation. Shh. Oh, okay, so he's going by 2, and then I get x, and if I have to divide that by 2, then I get 4.5. But there's no equation. This is not equivalent. They're added to each other. Okay, Paris.
Well, first for 3 and then with the parentheses, you would just do the distributive property. So
Okay.
you would get 3x plus 6. And then you would put an equal sign. And then you put 2x plus 9.
Why?
And then
Why? Why
because
can you do...
it's a square and all 4 sides are equal.
Beautiful. Because it's a square and all 4 sides, can't we make that statement of equality? Side 1 is equal to side 2. Right? So now we need to find the measure of a side. Once we find the measure of a side, that was fantastic. 3 times, we said it was 3x.
Plus 6.
Good. So 3x plus 6 equals 2x plus 9. Now we can do properties of equality. If it's not with the equal sign, you cannot start using properties of equality in inverse operations. Okay, keep talking us through it, Paris.
So then you would subtract 2x plus, from each side, and then you'd get 1x plus 6 equals positive 9. And then you would subtract 6 from both sides, and you would get x equals 3.
Okay, and so if x equals 3, then what's the measure of this side?
3.
No, it says x equals 3, not that's the measure. What does that tell me? Michaela?
But you substitute 3 for the x.
Right, 2 times 3 plus 9, that's 6, plus 9 equals what?
15.
15. So this side measure is 15. Okay? So the side measure is 15. Their work is much neater. So what's the area, please?
9.
What's the area of the rectangle? If we found that 2x plus 9 equals 15. Yes.
Is it 3x squared?
No. Zach? No. Are these guesses just coming out of the air? Lilith? No. Guys, we found that this side only, when we substituted the 3 in there, we got 15. The measure of this side is 15. How do I find area for a square? What's the formula? Josh? Or for a square in particular, Alasia?
You have to multiply,
What's the formula for a square's area? Michaela?
Side times side.
Right. Area equals side squared. So if a side is 15, we have to square it. And in the next month, you better have this number memorized. It should be 225. Okay? It's one of mine that I have memorized. You got to know through 20 your perfect squares. All right, so that's the only thing that gets a little different is there's double distributing. Shh. Okay? Shh. When we get problems like this, when I get a problem like this and they're asking for, as soon as they mention the word perimeter, you got to use the formula if there is one. So this is 2 x's and 2 lengths. 2 widths and 2 lengths. Okay, we want to see. You can apply formulas. And then you substitute in. The length is 2x plus 6. The width is x. So I have 2 times x and 2 times 2x plus 6. And then we simplify. And here, if this is an equilateral triangle, it means all 3 sides are the same. So you got to use perimeter equals 3 times the side. Do you understand? Now, no. Formula for a triangle, a rectangle, David. Formula for a rectangle. The perimeter equals, how about this? A length and a length plus a width and a width, right? 1 width, 2 widths, 2 lengths. Here, we can also write that as 2L plus 2W. Okay, it's not area, it's distance around. It's like circumference. This side, this side, this side. Perimeter of an equilateral triangle is equal to 3 times the measure of a side. If we call this S, they're all going to be the same. But this says, find the value of x if the perimeter of the rectangle is equal. So I have to set them equal. 2L plus W is equal to 3S. Now, what's the measure of a side? David, for a triangle. 3x minus 4 times 3 sides. What's the measure of the length for the perimeter? For the rectangle. 2x plus 6. What's the measure of the width? X, but I have 2 of those, so I have to say times 2. Do you see how the equation's built? And then you have to solve it. All right, I'm going to pause that. I'm going to say that's it for today. Tonight's homework is page 357, 7 through 24 all.